one of the things I want to make sure that we cover are some tools that people can use. And so there are a lot of tools out there. There are a couple of tools that I've used that I know are out there in companies that people are using those. One is Textio, right? We want to make sure that as you're writing a job description or as you're creating content for your website or for an article, you're checking to exactly what your point is, Scott. Is that an inclusive message, right? Have you checked it for bias and gender language, masculinity? And Textio's one. You can certainly get that. Go to that link, try their product. Another product, it's a full suite of products called OnGig. And one of my favorites, and I'm gonna let you talk about this, is TalVista. You want to talk a little bit about TalVista?
Well, thank you. So we all need tools to help us do our work better. I love to use this example. Everybody who wears a smartwatch, oh, you can't see that here, let me put it there. Everybody who wears a smartwatch is wearing that smartwatch, one, to keep them on time. Well, can't you do that with your brain? Remind them of appointments, remind them to stand up and walk around every 30 minutes, count their paces, how much water are you drinking? Well, the brain is pretty powerful. Why don't we just let it do it? Oh, because we forget and we get tied up in other things. What about spell check? Cody, I don't know about you, but I use spell check on a regular basis.
All the time.
Because I don't remember those things. Well, when it comes to writing for diversity, our platform provides a tool that helps you to optimize your emails, your website content, your job postings to ensure that they are as diverse as possible, not just on gender parity, but also for people of color and people with disabilities. So it's like a diversity checker is to what a word spell checker is for Word. But we don't stop there. We talked about bias a moment ago. We all have it. We don't like to admit it, but how do we be more consciously inclusive? So we actually produce and provide a resume redaction tool. We show the original resume, but redact out names, schools, places, previous employers as options, so that now a hiring leader can look at a resume for skills, experience, and education level versus a name. Now, here's a really basic example. You read a resume and you can't pronounce the name. That's going to happen. Well, in our primitive brain, that creates some discomfort. Well, that discomfort equals unsafe, and unsafe in our brain says false. And in a millisecond, we've taken a highly qualified candidate strictly based on their name, and we've set it aside to not advance forward. So by redacting a resume, the way we do it, it helps that qualified candidate, regardless of their race, gender, ethnicity, age, to be able to advance through. And so that's just a couple of the tools that we use, and we need tools as human beings to help us do our work. It's not a bad thing. Training is fantastic, but training oftentimes is forgotten 30, 60, 90 days. But when we reinforce that with tools, now that training sticks and we become a more diverse employment brand and attracting those candidates in. Is that okay? I hope that was okay to share.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And I there's some other things. So we're certainly looking at that part of making sure that you got that inclusive content, right? I think the low-hanging fruit is to take one of the tools. Certainly we use TalVista here, and use that to make sure you've got an inclusive job description and make sure your articles are inclusive. So that some amazing tools there. Some things that you can build, you can use on top of this, and that, I feel free to jump in on any of these. There's the Hemingway app, right? So there are things that you want to do so that your content is readable at levels that people can read, right? Most recruiters are going to write something and it's going to be at like the 14th grade level, which makes it really hard to read, especially if you're on a phone. So to get more people to read your content, get them to opt in, take it down a notch and have it be at the 7th or 8th grade level. I think there's one company that actually writes their content so that their ads so that they're at the 3rd grade level. The easier it is to read, the more people are going to read it. So using products like Hemingway is an app. Microsoft Word has a readability statistics that allow you to see what level you're writing at. There's the gender decoder. works on the gender component of it. And then certainly there's Grammarly that's there. So any thoughts on any of those products, Scott? And
so we use Grammarly. It actually overlays our writing product seamlessly. It's a free plugin on your browser, but it not only checks spelling and punctuation, but it'll also check the tone. And so it'll point out, hey, this is pretty aggressively written. I'll use that personally for some contracts that I'm writing, and I want to make sure that they're aggressive, but never in marketing copy. I want it to be fun, uplifting, inviting. And so Grammarly has shown to be a really good tool for us. Again, it's not our tool, but it overlays us so that you not only get the best of your diversity checker with us, but when you're using Grammarly, you get spell check, grammar check, and a tonality check all in one place to then really use good email, good web copy, or job postings effectively.
Yeah. And one of a thing I found out about when I was doing some research, getting ready for this, and most of the writers know about this, is that the AP style book, they updated the AP style book to handle race-related coverage and issues and how you approach that. And so if you haven't seen that, that's another tool that you can look at to give you some insight. And there's certainly tools that you can use to see what companies out there have those standout inclusive brands, right? And so I know we're coming.
Don't be afraid of the tools.
Yeah.
And don't be ashamed that you need tools. Would you rather walk from Los Angeles to New York, or do you want to take a plane? Your choice. It's a tool.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And, so Scott, if you were to give, a few tips, just someone that could, what they could go do now to get the process started of either evaluating to see if they have an inclusive brand or moving their brand toward being more inclusive, what are some of the top few things that someone could take away?
Start out by taking the content that you have, your recruiting, marketing content, and share it with your diverse workforce. And be vulnerable. It's okay. They're gonna slam you in some places, and they're gonna praise you in other places. Be willing to be open and accept that, because until you have awareness, you don't know where the problem is. So gain awareness. That's number one. Number two, now you have awareness. Now you've got to figure out how you're going to improve, whether it's with tools, whether it's you write internally and then do another test with your target market to ensure that you're on point. And again, like you use a spell check to make sure that you're spelling everything right, use a tool that's going to make sure you are attracting and talking to a diverse candidate pool. Otherwise, you're going to exclude highly qualified talent that are going to say you're inclusive, but you do not write as though you are inclusive. So get that in line and take baby steps. Third and final, don't be afraid to reach out to companies who have tools and learn what they have available. I will say this, they're in business to sell product. Learn, and if you're not interested, tell them that. Don't ask the questions and then all of a sudden ghost them because they're trying to figure out, are you interested or not? Right. Offer the courtesy to say, hey, Scott, I'm not interested any further. I appreciate it. Great. I'm not going to bother you. But my team's job is to educate and sell product so that you can take advantage of that. If you're not interested, be honest about it. And Cody, I'm sure you have that same issue when you're talking to clients on your consulting business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think this has been amazing. It's been really helpful, Scott. I would offer to anyone that we'll take a look at your website, look at some JDs. I know that we use TalVista all the time, so TalVista would be a great product for your job descriptions. Really powerful. And then we'll just do an evaluation and send you what we found with your sites and your content and your social media. And to Scott's point, if you don't have the expertise in-house or the time to do it, find an expert to help you. That's one of the things that I think will make a big difference. I know we're coming on time, but I want to open up and just to see, are there any other questions? We answered a lot of questions along the way. And let me look and see if I have any questions here. Jeff, do you have anyone bring in questions to you?
No, I think you've covered it.
Perfect. Well, want to thank everyone. Want to thank Scott for joining. You got amazing information. We hope to see you out there and look forward to helping you.
Thanks, Cody. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
All right. Take care. Bye.